is Bruce Stein. I'm a PhD scientist for the National Wildlife Federation. I help to coordinate the organization's Gulf spill response efforts.
So we're inside, and as you can see, it's a big warehouse building. Lots of fans going on, circulating. They've got these wooden pens here built with netting over top of them, and that's where the oiled birds are. And in this first pen here, there's some pretty badly oiled brown pelicans.
To me, some of the key questions about the Gulf spill have to do those things that are yet unseen or have not yet come to pass. And so we know about the pelicans that have been drenched in oil and died. We know about the marshes that have been covered in oil. What we don't know is what some of these longer-term unseen effects might be, the effects on the food chain, for instance. And so this was an opportunity to really pull together some of the best and brightest scientists from around the country, partner with one of the leading marine science institutions, MOTE Marine Lab, and really come together to begin exploring what these potential impacts are, how we might be able to keep track of them before they happen, and then how we can respond to manage them before we see a collapse 1, 2, or 5 years out that is completely out of our control.
My name is Eric Hoffmar. I'm a research scientist at the University of Southern Mississippi's Gulf Coast Research Lab within their Fisheries Center. My main research expertise is large pelagic, coastal and large pelagic fishes in the Gulf of Mexico. I've been working with coastal and pelagic sharks for the past 10 years, as well as other large pelagic fishes. And the reason I'm here at this conference is I've got some significant data that shows that several of these large pelagic species, as well as coastal species, could be in trouble based on the impact from this oil spill.
Hi, I'm Michelle Wood. I'm the director of the Ocean Chemistry Division of NOAA's Atlantic Oceanographic and Meteorological Laboratory in Miami. It's one of NOAA's larger research labs, and I moved there from the University of Oregon, where I was the head of the Ecology and Evolution program for many years. I've been amazed by how many things we've realized we need to know about the Gulf of Mexico as a result of trying to understand what the fate of the oil has been and what its impact on species has been. We've had now we're beginning to be able to take a breath and say, what do we need to do next? What could we have done differently? And this MOTE National Wildlife Federation conference on trophic cascades, to me, was an extraordinary opportunity to meet with a small group of people who wanted to think kind of big picture about what could really have happened here and what might its cascading, unexpected effects have been.
I'm Mitchell Roffer, president of Roffer's Ocean Fishing Forecasting Service from Melbourne, Florida. I'm a satellite fisheries oceanographer who help people locate concentrations of fish for research on bluefin tuna, other tunas, kingfish, mahi, and I'm currently at this workshop because we're concerned about the effects of the oil on the ecosystem in the Gulf of Mexico, from mullet all the way to tunas and the billfish.
Hello, my name is Dr. Steve Murawski. I'm the Chief Scientist of NOAA Fisheries, the National Marine Fisheries Service. I'm here today to participate in a workshop on the potential impacts of Deepwater Horizon on the trophic ecosystem. That is, how species are interrelated to each other. There's a lot of concern that the effects of the oil spill were problematic for individual species, but also how it actually fits into the bigger picture of how life in the Gulf interrelates to each other. The oil spill has really heightened our appreciation of the fact that no one entity is large enough or has enough resources to do the kinds of jobs that we're talking about. Understanding the critical nature of this huge oil spill as it relates to the large marine ecosystem of the Gulf of Mexico. And the nice thing about workshops like this is that it draws out the importance of collaborations between academia, private research institutions, the government research institutions, and the other NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, environmental groups, and others, including the fishers groups as well as the groups interested in environmental protection, to combine our resources in ways that are imaginative and that leverage the outstanding capabilities that exist in each of those domains.
My name is Aaron Adams. I am a senior scientist at MOTE Marine Laboratory and director of a science-based non-conservation group called Bonefish Tarpon Trust. My interests have always been fish. First as a fisherman, and then pretty quickly as a scientist. So the whole line between fishing and science got blurred for me decades ago. They're kind of, when I'm doing science, I kind of put a fishing perspective on it as far as designing studies, for example, implications. You know, in fishing, I'm always kind of looking at it from a scientist's perspective, about what the fish are doing, why they're doing it, that kind of thing. My particular focus is on habitat ecology, how fish use habitats, and their movement patterns. So a big concern about the Gulf oil spill is the huge size of it and the long-term implications of it. It has already altered how some fish move, for example. We've gotten reports from professional tarpon guides that the tarpon are already changing their migratory patterns, released this year in response to the spill. So it's going to be quite a challenge to figure out over the long term what the impacts are. It's out of the public eye now, but it's just like smoking. You smoke when you're a kid. When you're an adult, you get lung cancer. The cause and effect are known, it just takes a while. And so that's where we are. And we're trying to make sure we have sustainable fisheries and marine resources in the Gulf of Mexico for future generations.